I'm seeing a lot of queer white people posting like posting themselves being really happy and doing some random shit.
Your joy is not resistance. You should not be happy. You dare smile?
More of y'all like sitting your ass at home and giving your money to black and brown people so they can do that.
What?
In most places in the West, poor people and black people have been told that they do not belong inside of the food.
Why do people use poor and black synonymously?
Where white people are advised not to attend, so that a black identifying audience would be free from the white gaze.
The white gaze.
The white gaze. What does that mean? Bro, this is bad.
It is not resisting. Your joy is what got us here in the first place. I want to see more of y'all like sitting your ass at home and giving your money to black and brown people.
Miss Japan was actually
What?
white, and people were against her winning Miss Japan. So how do you feel about that?
How the hell dare you go to somebody else's country as a colonizer?
She is an Iranian-born woman who won Miss Germany.
As she should. Use them white people.
Tickets were only sold to people who identified as black. Are you going to do that in the West End?
I'm so excited to, yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that we're in 2024 and this level of racism is just so open that it exists. In my brain, I have a hard time understanding it because for the past few years, I'm not afraid to admit it, I've been focused on my studies. I've been trying to get my degree. I've been working hard. I haven't really been in the news that much. So when I watched it, it is very new to me. So I'm like, why are we focused this much? But shout out to MISHA. Make sure you subscribe to her channel. It will be in the bio. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's MISHA, and welcome back to my channel. Or should I say, it's your favorite bleach demon, cracker, milk cricket. I forgot the other ones. But we are going to be hearing from some more individuals who hate white people. But before we start, please make sure you are subscribed and have hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos.
Be a controversial take, but I'm seeing a lot of queer white people posting shit like posting themselves being really happy and doing some random shit and being like, yeah, our joy is resistance. And like, in my opinion, white people's joy is not resistance. Like, queer or not, your joy is not resistance. Matter of fact, your joy is what got us here in the first place. Like, your joy is why we're having to resist. And like, y'all putting yourselves and find yourselves and like your own joy in front of everybody else is what got us here.
A moment.
What are we I have a question. What is being What are we resisting? I'm confused. How is seeing someone happy piss you off? Or how does that upset you? What are you like? Are you resisting their happiness? Man.
Moment of silence for all of the queer white people who have a white savior complex, who try and get approval from TikTokers like her, and get this instead. Your joy is not resistance. You should not be happy. You dare smile as a white person?
Literally, I'm seeing so many white people right now going on like organizer retreats and posting about their joy and how awesome it was. Honestly, I want to see more of y'all like sitting your ass at home and giving your money to black and brown people so they can do that.
I'm
What?
sure you would. So the race hustler here is assuming an entire group of people are privileged because of their race, while you sit in your car filming a TikTok on your iPhone, demanding that white people stop being happy and give you their money.
Broadway.
And how come when people talk about privilege, they specifically target Western civilization such as Americans? The average salary in America is between $50,000 to $65,000. However, a poor American is richer than 99% of the world. And if you know, Africa, the largest continent, I think, is majority black people. So, I mean, it's majority black people. So you just being here, you're more privileged than them. So how come you never say, well, I'm privileged in this way. Let me help other black people in different places. You just look at white people and say, well, you're more privileged than me. All I'm trying to say is privilege exists everywhere, but we kind of ignore other places that aren't America and act like they don't exist when we discuss privilege and demonize white people. And to me, it doesn't make sense. You demonize American white people when you are richer than a lot of people in third world African countries. Not saying you're richer than everyone in Africa. I'm not saying that. I hope no one gets that from this. But you're richer than a lot of people in third world countries. A lot are black, and you're richer than a lot of other white people. You have better lives than a lot of other white people. You have better lives than a lot of other than a lot of other any people. but you ignore that and only demonize them.
There were nights where tickets were only sold to people who identified as black. Are you going to do that in the West End?
I'm so excited to, yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
And it's the fact that he's proud of this. Yeah, and I'm really happy about it. Yeah, we're discriminating based on race. Yeah, I'm so happy. But finally, we get to do this, right?
We have to remember is that people have to be radically invited into a space to know that they belong there.
What? How so? Since when? When I've been to the theater to certain performances, I wasn't radically invited. I bought the ticket and I went.
And in most of our country, in most places in the West, poor people and black people have been told that they do not belong inside of the theater.
Why do people use poor and black synonymously? And I know technically he didn't use them synonymously, but it's like they use them hand in hand, like Batman and Robin. Oh yeah, poor people and black people. Not every poor person is black, and not every black person is poor.
Okay, so I want to know where in America or in the UK, black people are told, no, you can't come to this theater. Whites only. That doesn't happen. Unlike the opposite now, where you're telling that white people can't come, only black people can come, right? And also, they're discriminating against poor people. Well, yeah, if you're poor and you can't buy the ticket, if that's what we're talking about, you have to be able to afford the ticket.
In America, Jim Crow existed to literally tell them that they could not sit in the same theater as white people. And so for me, as someone who wants and yearns for black and brown people to be in the theater, who comes from a working class environment, and so wants like people who do not make, over six figures a year to feel like theater is a place for them, it is a necessity to radically invite them in with initial.
Okay, but when you say not make over six figures, why are you excluding white people? I promise you there are white people in America who do not make over six figures. And forget white and black. Are you even going to discuss any other group of people in the United States? The United States is not just black and white, and I mean that literally and figuratively. There are other sets of people. Are they just ignored in this conversation completely? And what if you are poor and white? Are you also like you? This is stressing me out. Let's continue.
That say you're invited, specifically you.
So that's why you're fighting the racism from the past with racism now. You're going to have theater segregated based on race. Does that not go against the principles of equality and inclusion you're always talking about?
Price of that is saying to people who are, just because they're white, you can't come, you're not allowed in this space. Does that make you uncomfortable?
Well, no one's saying, listen, there are a litany of places in our country, in all of our countries, that are generally inhabited by only white people, and no one has questions about that.
So if there are certain places, like let's take sports for example, there are certain sports that you'll find more white people in and sports you'll find more black people in. Does that mean that there's a sign that says, oh, only black people can play basketball or only white people can go play golf? Of course not. It doesn't mean that if you find more black people somewhere, more white people somewhere else, it doesn't mean racism.
No one is saying that by inviting black audiences here, you were uninvited. The idea of a blackout night is to say, this is a night that we are specifically inviting black people to fill up this space, to feel safe with a lot of other black people in a place where they often do not feel safe.
Yeah, we're only inviting black people and it's a blackout night, but it's not like we're telling white people they shouldn't come. It's not racist or anything. I personally...
And one other thing about this discussion that I would like to bring attention to is the fact that within the United States, African Americans or black people only consist of 13% of the country. So let's take a venue like a theater. If it was being fair in, like, let's say a fair comparison to the nation's population statistics, only about 13% of that would be black. So if it was 100 people, 13 would be black. 1,000 people, 130 would be black. So all I'm saying is, just because an area doesn't have a majority of black people in it does not mean that it's racist. It could just be a representation of the country, because that would be the equivalent of saying the United States is racist because the United States isn't most black. It doesn't really make sense. And the same way his discussion doesn't really make that much sense statistically.
would feel really welcome to attend this performance when you specifically said it would be a blackout night and that you would radically invite only black people, it sounds like you don't want white people there. Art can unite people, right? Black people can attend, white people can attend, Asian people can attend, whoever. You should be welcoming people from all kinds of backgrounds, all races, right? Instead of that. Because that is backwards.
That you can host a play in our capital city and dare to choose the colour your audience should be. This is, without a shadow of doubt, racist. I'm talking, of course, about The Slave play, written by Jeremy O. Harris, scheduled to be performed at the Noel Coward Theatre in London in a few months' time. Now, the theatre, which receives public funding, has earmarked 2 shows as black-only performances, or blackout nights, where white people are advised not to attend, so that a black-identifying audience would be free from the white gaze.
The white gaze.
The white gaze.
But we are not judged evenly in the traditional theatre spaces.
How are black people treated unfairly in theatre? Can you give some examples?
Oh, I'm not here to go into that now because this is a...
Go into that. Please go into that because I just learned a new phrase. The white gaze. What does that mean? Bro, this is bad. I didn't know. So not only are people mad that white people are happy, they're mad at the white gaze, which to me sounds like white people just looking at them. So you're not allowed to smile. You're not allowed to look at people. You're not allowed to be in the same room or theater. And then you have someone here who agrees with this and won't even explain why they agree. They said they're not going into it.
a very casual interview outside of another event.
Oh, of course, yeah. I have a lot of experiences. Just trust me. There's plenty of things I could talk about right now that are 100% true. We're just not going to go into it right now.
I have many experiences of being treated as other within the spaces I am working by people who are in the audience. I'm not talking about theatre
audience members.
By audience members.
So what would they do? Just like,
no. This is not honoring my experience.
Guys, I can actually fly like a bird. Like, I can fly. I know you may not believe me, but I can do it. It's actually happened to me many times. I'm not going to go into detail, nor am I going to provide any proof. Just take my word for it. You don't believe me? Well, that's not honoring my experience.
She's an Iranian-born woman who won Miss Germany.
Does she live in Germany?
Yes, she lives in Germany, but she wasn't born in Germany.
I think it's fine, whatever she calls herself. If she's German, then she's German in my mind. Why are they against it?
Because she's not German, and she's Iranian.
But she calls herself German. I think it's fine, whatever she calls herself, she wants to be, and that's, whatever she feels is cool.
Right, so if I identify as German, I am now German.
I think she's vibing, doing her thing. I have no issue with that.
Yeah. Miss Japan is a Ukrainian-born woman, and she's actually white. But people are super upset about the fact that a white woman won Miss Japan, and people are okay with an Iranian woman winning Miss Germany. So what do you think about the dynamic there and how unfair that is for white people?
I don't think it's unfair to white people.
Okay, I think I have a conclusion. I think people have a resentment for white people, and it shows in situations like this. And what I mean is they look at an Iranian woman who won Miss Germany and they say that's fine. But then they look at a white woman who won Miss Japan and they say that's not right. And to me, that shows that when you look at white people, you have this kind of resentment or this feeling that you owe me. And that's a terrible way to think. That's a terrible demeanor to have towards an entire race of people. Especially, this is just not right, man. This is wrong.
But what if she was also just vibing?
I think she's vibing, doing her thing.
This is a crazy thought. I think Miss Germany should probably be German. And I think Miss Japan should probably be Japanese. If these people were born in the country, okay, I think that would be a different story. And this woman was born in Iran, and the other woman was born in Ukraine.
An Iranian-born woman who won Miss Germany. How do you feel about that?
As she should. Use them white people. She did what she had to do. I respect it. I would have done it. I would do it. I will do it. Just wait.
Miss Japan was actually white, and people were against her winning Miss Japan. So how do you feel about that?
F off.
Why?
This is bad.
How the hell dare you go to somebody else's country as a colonizer, going and colonizing someone else's brand for your own benefit? Once again, they never fail. Miss Germany is absolutely beautiful and absolutely gorgeous, and she better do that shit again.
Oh no, double.
And that's what I'm saying. there, like Misha was saying, there is a double standard. There is a resentment for white people there, and it sucks. I thought we were past. It's 2024. Like, let's be honest. Anyways, if you have any suggestions, comment down below. Else I'll go. See ya.